coming in the distance.
I didn't go into the season of life expecting to have an album, expecting to become a recording artist or any of that. I really entered this season of life really passionate about the local church. I'm a local church worship guy. I'm not a rock star. I'm the farthest thing from a rock star. I formed a relationship with Jay King, who is on staff. He's vice president of A&R for Integrity Music, and we literally just started our relationship off as friends. And the more and more Jay got to know me, the more and more he's like, dude, you need a soundtrack to this ministry that you call Ragamuffin Soul. And Ragamuffin Soul is my blog. And it kind of everything is based around Ragamuffin Soul. It's grown into a community of about 7,000 readers a day that are coming by and just sharing their authentic selves. And I'm definitely the kind of guy that is looking to be real with himself, others, and God. And authenticity is a big value of mine. And so there's this community and this ministry that I've kind of unintentionally built. And out of that, Jay started thinking, man, like, you're a worship guy, you need songs. And I'm like, yeah, well, I can do other people's songs. But the more I led worship, the more I realized there's not really anything that's fitting me exactly. I said, you know what, let's give it a shot. I definitely feel, as I listened to the record, that that we did it. I didn't know what it was going to sound like because I didn't have a sound, you know, but I feel like we really painted a soundtrack for Ragamuffin Soul. It was pretty cool. So I'm a rookie to all this, especially when it comes to thinking that a label is helping me release this album and songs need to be great. And so what we did was we looked for a lot of producers, and we met with a lot of producers, and at the end of the day I think we realized, you know, we need a producer, but we also need a songwriter. And in Jason Ingram we found both of those. Jason Ingram is one of the most amazing and gifted songwriters I think on the planet. He is writing some amazing anthems for the church today. And so we found Jason, and Jason said, you know what, I think Jason got it. He figured out, I think he's kind of saw it as a challenge. He was like, okay, I'm gonna help him write some songs. But the cool thing about it is I got to write with some amazing writers besides Jason. I got to write with Mia Fields from Hillsong Church in Australia. And so she wrote Jesus Saves with us on the album. And again, that's the song that it's 2 words in the chorus. And whenever I lead that thing live, we'll get done with the bridge and I'll get right to the chorus and I'm like, all right, people, it's 2 words. It's not that complicated. And I feel like when I say that, people are like, oh, okay, I don't have to look at the screen. So they just sing Jesus Saves, Jesus Saves. And it catches on so fast. And so I'm super pumped about that song. But I also got to write with Philip LaRue, which I was a big LaRue fan back in like 1999. And I was like, dude, you're in LaRue. And he's like, yeah, not a lot of people know that about me. But so we wrote some songs together. We wrote Rain It Down and God of Second Chances. You know, these songs definitely have been birthed out of my journey recently, mostly in stuff that we've been talking about on my blog. So. In order for things to grow, and in order for a Christian to grow, normally that happens when something hits the fan. So when something hits the fan in your life, that's when the most growth happens. So one of my values that I place when I go and I speak at either conferences or churches is I talk about the value of disturbing and disrupting the career Christian in order to bring them closer to faith. Now, why do I say that? Again, because I feel like when a Christian that's comfortable and a Christian that's maybe a career and callous Christian is disturbed, suddenly their eyes are open, and at that moment, for that second that they're disturbed, there's an opportunity for you to present Christ in a completely new way to them. As I was writing these songs with Jason and Philip LaRue and Mia Fields, a couple other great writers, you know, that definitely was something that was super important to me, that we made sure that these songs, not everyone, some of the songs are safe, but I would definitely say that most of the songs have either verses or choruses or bridges that will disturb and disrupt a career Christian. It's not really easy to sing the chorus of "We Will Worship You," where in that chorus we took a prayer from the Puritans' Book of Prayer, and it says, "Save us from our comforts, break us of our need for the familiar, spare us any joy that's not of you, and we will worship you." So it's like once those 3 things happen, then we'll worship you. Well, if you're honest with yourself and you're a Christian, That's not what happens on Sundays. We're comfortable. We're asking God to protect us from anything, and we're definitely not asking Him to break us of things. But I believe when we're disturbed and when we're broken is when that's going to happen. And I feel like that's a chorus that the church has been waiting to sing for a long time. And I think that it's a scary prayer. It's a scary chorus to sing, but it is a chorus that will disturb and disrupt a career Christian to where I think will open their hearts up to where God can do new things in their lives. So that's just one example on the record of a song that does that. There's other songs that do that as well. And I'm pretty excited for the church to be disturbed and disrupted by some of these songs. What is a ragamuffin? A ragamuffin is a filthy, dirty, normally homeless orphan or child. If there's no better description of who I am as a dirty child of God that is in need of adoption, that was exactly what I was. So if I can talk a little bit about what happened earlier today. I'm out there singing, you're the God of second chances. It's like 37 degrees outside. My fingers are freezing cold. I'm complaining. I'm moaning. I've got a small headache. And this homeless guy just comes kind of walking in my peripheral vision. And he was walking, not even kind of paying attention to us. And I remember thinking, I'm going to say hey. And then he started walking towards us. And I thought to myself, very selfishly, this guy's about to ask me for some money. And the first thing he says is this gospel about the music? And I was like, yeah, it's gospel. Well, Danny proceeds to walk himself right next to me, and he's like, keep singing your song. Well, I'm singing God of second chances, God that still romances, with a homeless guy. So I'm sitting here singing the song, and he's on his knee, and he takes his hat off, and his Rastafarian dreads come down, and he's got this Jamaican accent. Brother Danny starts singing in his Jamaican kind of vibe, definitely that Rastafarian feel.
One creator, yes, one father.
And in that moment, I remember sitting here thinking to myself, okay, God, you ordained this moment to teach me and maybe even others that Danny, I don't know how many second chances Danny's had. I don't know how many people there are that aren't giving Danny another chance. But I do know that God believes 100% in Danny. And God is going to love Danny as much as he's going to love me. And that right there is what Ragamuffin Soul is all about.
Hallelujah is the highest praise. One Jah, one creator, yes, one Father.